Glad to be here. Hope everyone's doing great today. Today is it's the end of the week. It's one of those days where you kind of just relax, do your laundry, kind of clean up things around the house, scrub down the vanity, wash the toilet. Not a lot of people like to wash the toilet. I've come to find out that actually people who, so to give you this story fully, we were supposed to be cleaning a bathroom in a job, and somebody, I'm not going to name names on here because I like to be respectful, didn't know how to clean a toilet. So I thought, what a good time for us to talk about how to clean a toilet. So today on DJP, I'm going to talk to you guys how to properly clean your bathroom, also how to put on deodorant and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll give you guys some men's hygiene tips here for the episode, so tune into that, but we're not going to get into that until we get into this song. This brand new song, actually, that's going to be the intro for DJP for quite some time now, is going to be from my buddy Image. He actually has an album out right now. It's called The Sounds of Slahal, stick game album he's made with actually my cousin, Martie Mclean. So this is a big shout out to them, and I'm very proud of what they're doing. I mean, starting your own CD is something, and then putting it out there, selling it and putting it out for people to listen is definitely very courageous, and I commend them for that. And man, so let's go ahead and get this song started. We used it last episode as well, but this is like a formal thank you, Image, for giving me this song. And let's get into this. What a great song. See, like I was telling you, you got, the vibe is, sometimes that's what happens in the pod. So with that song, we'll be using that for the intro or the outro, maybe both, maybe one or the other. So be on the lookout. Remember, you guys can go check out that song. The link will be in my bio. I believe that song is My Love for You. It was my favorite on there. I plan on using other ones from the album as well, but a whole bunch of stuff is going on here. So we'll figure out what song goes best with a certain day, and I'm excited. So, men's hygiene. Some people say, hey, Dom, I don't really know how to clean a toilet. That's fine, like some people didn't have to clean their toilet when they were a kid. Some people actually had their mom clean their toilet, had their dad, their grandparents clean their toilet for their whole life. And then they move into the outside world and quickly find out that you need a toilet brush and soap and bleach and stuff. So if you're gonna clean your bathroom, this is what you should do. You should go and rinse everything down with soap and water. It doesn't have to be super wet or flooded in there. You just get a rag, or maybe sometimes I just use like a toilet paper. I know that's kind of wasteful, but I kind of rub stuff down with soapy Dawn water on the vanity, and then on the toilet as well. And then, so that's like your surface clean. And then to go into deep cleaning, you got to go get those toilet bowl cleaners that are like angled weird. So they're angled that way, so when you tilt them upside down, they spew up towards the top of the toilet. So you go and get one of those. I like to get the one with the little scrubby guy with the eyes on him. I don't really know his name, but I like to get that one. I like to get other ones that start with an L, and end with an OL. I'm not going to say the name on here, but anyway, you get the gist. I like to get the blue colored ones. They just seem cleaner to me, just like the Dawn soap, if I like to get the blue one. And then you spray it around your toilet, and then you get a scrubber, which is like $1. You could use a sponge, but I like to use the one with the bristles because you gotta scrub away the hard stuff, on the toilet. That could be stains, Band-Aids, anything. You shouldn't really be throwing Band-Aids away in the bathroom, but, hard stains. And scrub away, and then you flush, and then you got a clean toilet. And some people say, oh, what about the toilet seat itself and the toilet seat lid that you sit on to go number 2, or if in this case you're a woman, go 1 and 2. Those ones I like to use Lysol wipes or just soap and water. Make sure there's no spots or stains on them and stuff. And then you gotta clean the lid too, and also clean your shower too. So these are just basic things that some people don't know. I'll try to go through those every episode. If you guys need like a little tip, this is no shame. I'm not shaming anybody, but I guess I used to, prior to this episode, I'd kind of be like, oh, you don't know how to do that? And not everybody had the same experience as me, so I gotta get better at that. And I guess that kind of goes for a lot of other things too, like a lot of like other things on a deeper level. I've gotten judged for not being the most traditional sometimes. Not necessarily from people I know, but, outsiders looking in. And, I don't think they had that same approach of, I didn't have the same upbringing. And I had those opportunities, I did, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't take advantage of them. And later in life, it made me catch up to those things. Dom, what are those things? You could kind of fill in the blanks with anything native. I would go to events, but I usually never was the singer or stuff like that, or the dancer. But as I've gotten older, I've been more appreciating and trying to step into that a little bit more. Not pointing even any fingers at my own tribe, just like outside when you travel like to other tribes and stuff. You're like, oh dang, I wish I knew this. And people kind of look at you like, oh, how don't you know this? And it's because maybe I was waiting for this time. I was waiting for it to be now. And I know that might be kind of sounding like a lazy way to say you don't know something yet, but maybe that's true. Kind of reminds me of that Step Brothers scene when he's like, oh, could you imagine if we had these night vision goggles when we were kids? He's like, even better. We got it when we're 40. Even better. I'm learning it now. Maybe I could comprehend it a little bit more. Maybe I could do it the right way. Not saying they're doing it the wrong way, but yeah, so don't beat yourself up if you don't understand something, because I'm still learning a whole bunch of things. I'm actually kind of restarting right now with this trade stuff. Like you think you're kind of handy, and then you kind of be around a bunch of handy people, and then you're like, oh, dang, I still got to learn a lot of this. If someone told me to put a lock on a doorknob, dude, I wouldn't know how to do that. And I know my guys at Lakota, my buddy Thomas, I know they know how to do that. And you know what? I don't mind plugging those guys, because those guys, they're family friend. But that's something I don't know. And I think it's kind of interesting too. Like I went into HMAR. I don't remember I told you guys this whole story, but it's really cool going into somewhere. I mean, I've been to HMAR a couple times a year at least. So that told us up to at least 56 times. I don't think I'm at 56 times. I think I'm at like 20 maybe. And I walk in there, and there's so many spices, so many combinations I've never even heard of. And I'm sitting there judging them like, oh, man, I couldn't eat that. It's like, well, what if? You're on the street in Tokyo or Japan or North and South Korea, and something doesn't smell that good, but it is good. I thought that with kimchi for a while, and it turned out to be pretty well, or to be pretty good. It's also really good for you. Yeah, I didn't get any call-ins for the middle thing of the car. So remember, you guys can always call in 425-320-3641. Let me know, what do you keep in the middle console of your car? Also, what is everybody dressing up as for Halloween? Call into the hotline, 425-320-3641. Let me know what you're going to be for Halloween. Maybe you're a person who doesn't like to celebrate Halloween. Just say, hey, I'm not celebrating Halloween, but I wanted to call in. Some people already dressed up. Some people already did the Halloween weekend and dressed up as their, PG-13 costumes. But yeah, let me know what you dressed up as, man. 425-320-3641. Definitely interested to see. So far, I haven't dressed up as anything. I'm kind of like one of those guys. I was just watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That's a good get. That's a good costume. But I'd probably be the Gene Wilder version. I like the old one, but I also like Johnny Depp's version too. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about Willy Wonka. I think it's a great movie. I really do. I think the first one has me dying. Gene Wilder is pretty funny. But here's the... I feel like I've seen a lot of Willy Wonkas, and I'm not trying to be a lot of Willy Wonkas. And I know whatever costume I'm going to be is, you know, someone else is going to wear it, of course. But I think Willy Wonka would be a fun one, Oompa Loompa. So this year I was thinking about being Steven from Nacho Libre for Halloween. I think that would be a fun costume. But yeah, I think I get a wig, and I think I could do it. But I hope it's not culturally appropriating nothing. Just a movie character or someone from the Benchwarmers. I think that'd be a cool one. Be Richie. I think being Richie from the Benchwarmers would be funny. I think I've gone through this every Halloween, but I like to go through what I've been for Halloween. From what I can remember, my favorite Halloween costume, I mean, I've been Bob from Bob's Burgers. I've been Yu-Gi-Oh! I think I was Power Ranger, the Red Power Ranger, for like 3 years in a row. I think I was Scream, of course. Everybody was Scream. I was, Adam Devine's character from Righteous Gemstones 1 year. And I'm kind of blanking out on what else I've been. But, yeah, what was your favorite Halloween costume? Also let me know that on the hotline, 425-320-3641. Let me know what your favorite Halloween costume you ever have been. I think that's always really interesting. I used to be really obsessed with masks as a kid. So I'd always be like these really scary masks. And that was really fun. But, like I've said before, the thing is with Halloween is like, kids, I don't really see kids trying to go trick or treat no more. I think the thing is with kids, I think the parents are worried about getting razors and apples and stuff, or people poisoning candy. It's kind of like the whole thing with airplanes. Like you hear them a lot when they crash and burn and all of that, but how often does it really happen? I mean, you're more likely to get hurt driving to the neighborhood to go get trick-or-treat candy than I'm pretty sure you are to get something from somebody. But, with COVID now, I mean, I understand people are like, I'm not going to somebody's house. They don't even wipe their shoes off at the door. A lot of people have this prejudgment of just someone's house. Because, like the outside of my place is a lot different than the inside. And I'm not saying it's dirty on either outside or in, but you can't judge a book by its cover. Or especially like they're a 49er fan and you're like, we're not walking up there because Dad's a big Seahawk fan. It's like you never know, they could be giving out Butterfingers, man. Or whatever your favorite one was. I think my favorite candy to get was Dots. I really like getting Dots. That was a fun one to get. Yeah, it really was. But yeah, Halloween's different, man. I haven't dressed up as anything yet, and there's just so much going on in the world right now. It's kind of hard for me to kind of put a finger on what's really going on. I mean, I keep thinking like I'm going to pull up on Twitter or something or whatever it's called now, X, and I'm going to refresh and it's going to say World War III. Does anybody have that feeling like where you feel like you're just going to go to Twitter, refresh, and it's just going to say World War III, man, there was a bombing in blank. Bombing in New York, bombing here. It's like, it's a weird time we're in. I mean, we already got 3 billion, billions of people here. So adding a bunch more isn't going to really, we're already going to preemptively hurt, the environment, us just being us. So why bomb it? It's just only accelerating it. To me, and again, I'm just the guy with the pod, and what do I know? I get that comment a lot on the pod is, bro, let's start a podcast. Been getting some hate on my clips lately, and just part of the thing. And I don't really like to come on here and say I'm any different than anybody, because I'm just the guy who managed to look up how to do something on YouTube and figure it out just the way everybody else figures out their stuff. For instance, somebody learns how to sing, they eventually are a singer, and then everyone admires it. Somebody learns how to be a mathematician and a super smart guy or chess guy or something like that, and people admire it. Just they decided to go do that thing, and then people start realizing, oh, that's pretty cool that he did that. That's all this is. So I'm not sitting here on my no horse or nothing. Trying to stay humble. That's a good thing. Always trying to stay a little bit humble. There's actually some funny things going on. So I've been like I've been telling you guys with the plumbing stuff. I know I keep saying plumbing, whatever. But my brother actually sent me a text, and I was actually trying to sit here thinking of topics to talk about. And he was like, bro, have you ever gone to a toilet and it feels like it was made for Shaq, and you're just like almost legs are almost off the ground? Here's the thing. I don't know what toilet he was on, because Luke's like at least 6'1", 6'2". So that has to be a tall toilet, because you know what? Being under 6 foot, I've faced toilets that are pretty tall. And I'm almost on my, front word, or, right behind my toes, whatever that's called. Heel ball toe, like, kind of like on the balls of your, towards the end of your, what is that area called right after your toe? Anyway, I've been on toilets that are like that. And it's a weird scenario to be in, because I like being in toilets that, my feet are like at a 90-degree angle of the toilet, Anyway, yeah, so if you guys ever felt those toilets that are really high, those are really not a fun experience. You could tell me about those experiences, the hotline. I'm not going to make you tell me about your bowel movements, because bowel movements are something else. Bowel movements are can make or break your day. I've gone consecutive days without a bowel movement, and those aren't fun. I've had bowel movements multiple times a day, and those aren't fun. So it's like a weird, there's a line in between. And I think I know what that line is, and that's a good place to be at, to me. There's a lot of bad things that can go on in the world. You could lose some money gambling. Someone could cut you off in traffic. Somebody could give you your entree at a restaurant and it actually not be your entree. Or you could be constipated. And constipation is definitely the worst one, to me. Constipation is rough, man. And if you guys ever have constipation issues, I'm not a doctor. So whatever advice I'm about to give you, remember, I'm not a doctor. Just drink a lot of water, dude. It's kind of like with everything. I also take probiotics sometimes. And eat some fruits, man. It's basically it. So there's no really secret formula. Yeah, the Hawks have won today. Actually, all three Hawks teams that I kind of cheer for won today. So I just kind of showed the day here in the studio. The Seahawks won. The Atlanta Hawks beat the Bucks. Or the Seahawks beat the Browns. Atlanta Hawks beat the Bucks. And the Tulalip Heritage Hawks actually are coming off a win against Lummi. Shout out to the Heritage Hawks, man. They actually just came off a big win this past Saturday against Lummi. And now they're heading to districts, I believe, and they're going to be playing a team away. So if you're on the Heritage Hawks football team, man, congratulations. Districts, that's a big thing to be proud of. Yeah, I never got to go to... Actually, I think we had a districts game I didn't play in because I got a concussion. Now looking at it, you know what? I'm not trying to go too deep into high school football with you guys because I'm not trying to be that guy. I've definitely had those conversations with my buddies who also played high school football. But then when you're telling people who aren't on your football team or played in your conference football, you're sounding a little like you peaked at high school, just a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with talking about the good times or whatever. I understand that. But if you're telling the girl that you just met at the bar 8 years ago, you're one play away from high school football state, it's not a good look, dude. And hey, I understand high school football was fun. I had a lot of fun too, man. I could sit here and talk about one or two certain plays that I felt like I was going to go to the league. But no, we're here talking instead. There was moments I knew I wasn't going to the league years ago. I knew I wasn't going to the league, probably the youngest out of anybody. And that was a tough pill to swallow. That was like a chewable pill, like a chewable tablet. You know, like those medicines you got to chew. That was me realizing I wasn't going to the league. I knew I wasn't going to the league when it was like 5th grade and there's like already AAU. And I'm still struggling to even get a point in, 21 in the backyard. So, I mean, I shouldn't have let that deter me. There's definitely people that, I'm not saying I didn't have the capabilities or the resources. I definitely probably could have. Probably not the genetics or the physical traits, but who knows, man? Maybe if I would have slept a little more as a kid, I would have grew. I think I still kind of blame my height on waking up early as a kid. And I would always try to wake up early and play video games or do something and just be up early. I was a weird kid. I'd want to be up early. And, when you cut those hours of sleep, maybe you're growing in those sleep. Maybe I could have grown a little bit more. This is obviously a joke, so if you're listening, don't take this too hard if you're my family. But I think about that sometimes. If I would have just slept in a little more, maybe I wouldn't have like an inch or two. Who knows? But yeah. So basically, my advice here on the pod is it's I'm here to help you. It's learn how to clean your bathroom. And don't talk your high school football days if you were 10 years out of high school. You're in high school and talk about your football days. I get it. You're probably going to talk to the women about like whatever. That's good in that time frame, But believe me, dude, I'll even say this, even some more truth. I'm not going to say anything under 18, but more so in the college, you're going to be talking, oh, yeah, in high school, I was the best so-and-so, blah, 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 Our intramural team plays tonight, might go mess with these guys around. We played in the 2-way. We were legit. So, yeah, they got me starting. And then you just get the weirdest look, like, why aren't you on the team if you were that good? My leg, but you're still playing intramural. Coach didn't like me. He's racist. That's the oh my God. If it wasn't their knee getting blown out or their Achilles getting torn, they were racist. They just didn't like me. The coach, personality difficulties, they were just racist. They just wanted their son to play. It's like, I don't think they had a son on the team. Stepson, he wanted his stepson's. It was his daughter's boyfriend, didn't want to play me. He could have went to state. It's like, bro, you are 40. If you're 30 talking anything high school football, I don't know what to do. Well, almost as hard as one time I went on a hike with my girlfriend, and her friend brought her boyfriend. And I was trying to start a conversation with this guy. And I like to pride myself in being able to talk to most people. I could not find anything with this guy. I think I've told you guys this story before. I was like, yo, you watch any sports? It's too boring for me. Oh, do you do any hobbies? Not really. Do you play any video games? Nah, that's for kids. And I was like, how often do you like to go outside? He's like, oh, I don't. It's like, oh, so have you traveled? Yeah, I've lived in Philly, New York, and Seattle. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. What's your favorite one? He's like, none of them. And I was like, dang, you're kind of a hipster. Like, you don't like nothing, huh? That's what I said when we're hiking. He's like, not really, but you know what I do like? And I was like, oh, piqued my interest a little bit. What does this guy like, to do for fun? Because me, I like to do certain things for fun. Like, I have a list that I can tell someone if they're willing to ask. So I was like, what is it? I wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I was like, okay, maybe he works out. I wake up at 5:30 in the morning and watch the market. I'm like, oh, like stocks. Like, oh, so you got a Robinhood account. And he like scoffed, like, Robinhood. I don't use Robinhood. I use E-Trade. All right, so you're up at 5:30 in the morning, and then you trade? He's like, yeah, I usually like to make my hourly in seconds trading. I was like, so you kind of like to gamble. So do you sports bet? He's like, I don't like to gamble. I'm like, stocks is similar to gambling, though. This is all while going uphill on a hike, right, by the way. Because I'm kind of trying to mess with this guy in the same way. So I was like, oh, you like to gamble? Do you like to sports bet? No. I was like, yeah, but you trade stocks in the morning, and you said you can make up to your hourly 8-hour wage in a stock, but I'm sure you lose, though. Yeah, but I don't ever lose. And maybe he hasn't. I'd like to say, hey, that was the first trader I've ever met that's never lost. And maybe he does some really conservative stocks where he doesn't lose, or he knows some thread or whatever. Maybe he is smart. I really hope to give him that. But I doubt it. Market predicting, dude, is insane. And I'm not an expert on that either. But that was a pretty funny story. If you can get where I was connecting to that, that's like what it's like talking to somebody with high school football. And believe me, I have done it with my friends. Talked about it all night. Basketball tournaments, whatever. I feel like talking basketball tourneys and high school football is a little bit different because, basketball tourneys you can do when you're a little bit older. High school football, it was a while ago. So native tourneys, I'll listen to that stuff all day. But I don't want to listen to your big third down tackle you had to win your second to your last game in football. You made the game-winning catch. All right, I'll give you some props. Yeah, that's dope, dude. Don't tell me about your 6-yard run where you barely hurdled over somebody, bro. Oh man, I'm probably being the rude one here. Talk about whatever you want, but that's my opinion, and I think it's something I've formed over the years. But I hope everybody else is out there doing something. I hope everybody's out there doing their routine and doing something they like to do. That's a hard thing I struggle with sometimes, is doing things for the group, But doing things for yourself is equally as important. And I understand there's some times in your life where it's hard to do that. But, maybe that time for you to have your alone time will come. And I hope everybody gets that here. I hope you've finished the things that you've started, or the things that you've said you want to do. At least look it up tonight. Look it up on your phone. Like, oh man, I really want to go to school there. Look it up a little bit longer. I'm not saying go fill out the application, but go look it up. Like, where would you live if you went to that area? Or what kind of food would you like to go out to eat around there? Don't think about all the serious stuff all the time. Everyone wants to say, I want to go and do this, and then they look into the hardest parts of the whole thing. Why don't you look up like where you'd go eat around there, or fun things to do, instead of just focusing on like, oh, how much is rent? How much is this? How much is that? It's like that stuff is already going to happen, dude. So just look at the other fun stuff about it. And I'm not saying life's supposed to be all fun, but look at the good stuff, the other side too. Anyway, this has been episode 155 or 156, so I hope whatever one it is, you guys enjoy it. Happy Halloween, happy whatever holiday you call it. Let's close this out with a little bit of Image's song, man. I'm really proud of him, man. Keep it up, bro, and I'll see you guys next week. Wait.